Imagine waking up, not in your soft bed, but on a pile of straw crawling with fleas. You open your eyes to the sound of roosters crowing, but you're not on a farm stay vacation. You are the farm. Your back aches, your feet are bare, and there's no breakfast waiting unless you count yesterday's cold porridge. Welcome to your new life as a peasant in the Middle Ages. Could you survive even one day? Let's find out. It's dawn. The sky's turning gray, not golden. You've just spent the night in a one-room wattle daub hut. No windows, no chimney, just smoke from the fire hole choking the rafters. The smell? A rich blend of sweat, mud, and manure, yours and the animals. You share the hut with your spouse, your children, and sometimes your chickens and pig, because the landlord would rather they not be stolen. Toilet? Forget it. You use a bucket, if you're lucky. Breakfast? There's no cafe down the road. You stir the pot from last night, barley porridge. Maybe a hint of onion. No sugar, no coffee, no eggs, no Instagram scroll. Just silence in the grim knowledge that the Lord's land won't plow itself. You eat with a wooden spoon from a communal bowl. Germs? You don't know what those are, but you'll probably die from one of them. You're not free. You are a serf. You don't own the land you work on. The Lord does. And every week, you owe him part of your harvest, your time, and your labor. Work for your own family? Only after you've served the manor. And if you're caught hunting the Lord's deer or taking fallen wood from his forests, that's poaching, punishable by hanging. You can't just leave either. If you try to run to the next village, the bailiff may track you down, and you'll be branded or worse. Freedom, to a medieval peasant, is a rumor, not a right. The sun's barely risen, and you're already ankle-deep in mud. Plowing is backbreaking. The soil's tough, the wooden plow primitive, and the oxen stubborn. No tractor, no gloves, no water bottle. Just you, the whip of cold air, and your bleeding hands. Sowing seeds? Done by hand. Harvesting? With a sickle. Threshing wheat? With a flail. Every job is exhausting, repetitive, and brutal. And remember, you still need to repair your roof, tend to your tiny garden, feed the animals, and carry water from the stream. Several times. You think your 9 to 5 is rough? This is 5 to dark, with no weekends and no overtime pay. Lunch. If you're lucky, rye bread, maybe a leek, and some ale. You eat to survive, not for pleasure. Meat is rare, especially in winter. If a pig is slaughtered, nothing is wasted. Organs, feet, even the blood goes into sausage. Salt is precious. Spices are fantasy. And most peasants live constantly on the edge of hunger. One bad harvest, just one, and famine sets in. In 1315, for example, it rained so much for so long that crops rotted in the ground. Thousands starved. Some even resorted to cannibalism. That was a good century compared to the Black Death. A ship docks in a Mediterranean port. A few sick sailors step off. Within weeks, entire villages are dying. The Black Death sweeps through Europe. Peasants die in droves. Whole families gone overnight. Priests, nobles, children, it doesn't care. You, the medieval peasant, don't know what's happening. You blame sin, bad air, or the alignment of planets. You pray harder, whip yourself, but it doesn't stop the coughing, the fever, the black swellings under your arms. By 1351, 1 in 3 Europeans are dead. If you survived that, congratulations. But don't celebrate too soon, because now comes. Great, time to rebuild. Oh wait, you still owe taxes. Not just to your lord, but to the king and the church. There's the grain tax, the hearth tax, the ale tax, the tithe, and the tolls on every road and bridge. You pay in crops, labor, and coins, if you have any. Complain? That's called rebellion. And if you join one, like the peasants' revolt in 1381, don't expect mercy. Rebels were hunted, beheaded, and displayed as a warning. Religion is your only comfort and your only fear. You can't read the Bible. It's in Latin. So you rely on the priest to tell you what's holy, what's sinful, and what's punishable by fire. Miss Mass. That's a sin. Don't tithe? You risk excommunication. Fear hell? Good. That keeps you in line. And sometimes, the church accuses your neighbors of heresy or witchcraft. Trials by water or fire decide their fate. If they float, they're guilty. If they drown, they're innocent. But dead. Either way, God's will is done. The sun is setting. No streetlights. No electricity. Just pitch black night and the howl of wolves. You huddle near the hearth with your family. Doors are barred. Superstition reigns. You tell stories of ghosts, witches, and demons lurking outside. You sleep on a sack of straw. Maybe lice-free, maybe not. You pray you won't wake to your roof leaking or a sick child beside you, because you can't afford a doctor. You wouldn't even know what to do if someone had a fever or started coughing blood. You just pray, and sometimes bury them by dawn. So, could you survive? Let's review. No freedom, no medicine, no clean water, no education, no legal rights, no showers, no breaks, just hard labor, bad food, superstition, and the daily fear of death. Your life expectancy? Around 30 to 35. If you're lucky. Survive? Maybe. Thrive? Never. Not unless you were born a noble, or not born at all. But here's the twist. Despite it all, many peasants found meaning in their lives. They loved. They laughed. They celebrated harvests, danced at weddings, and told stories by firelight. They worked for their families. They survived for their children. And without them, without their sweat, their patience, their perseverance, castles wouldn't have been built. Kingdoms wouldn't have fed themselves. History wouldn't have happened. They were the backbone of the medieval world. Unseen, unsung, but essential. And we remember them not because they were kings, but because they endured what we never could. So next time you complain about slow Wi-Fi or your coffee being too bitter, remember, you're not ankle-deep in mud. You're not sleeping next to your livestock. You're not working from dawn to dusk just to stay alive. And you're definitely not paying your taxes in chickens. You'd probably never survive a day as a medieval peasant. But thankfully, you don't have to.